Well, we're here to discuss Sheffield Hallam University's winning submission in 2022 in the category Outstanding Contribution to the Local Community. I'm Deian Hopkin, and I've been a judge of the awards for 12 years, especially in this category, but delighted, in fact, to be here with Greg Burke from Sheffield Hallam University, who's going to talk about the submission and about his university and its very exciting program. So welcome, Greg. Can you first of all say something about yourself?
Hi, thanks very much. It's great to have this opportunity. I'm Greg Burke. I'm the Director of Place and Civic Engagement based at Sheffield Hallam University. I've been at Sheffield Hallam for the last 5 years. Prior to that, I was a senior civil servant in the Department for Education.
Very interesting career trajectory. Perhaps we'll come and talk to that in a moment. But I was very struck by the title of your submission this year, which was, of course, South Yorkshire Futures. You know, very different from most of it. It's very ambitious, quite widespread program. It's clearly focused locally and regionally, but also nationally because you've got a national network. How did this all start?
It started when the university developed its new strategy. And one of the objectives in that strategy was to improve educational outcomes for young people growing up in South Yorkshire. And at that stage, I don't think as a university we really knew how we were going to do that, but there was an ambition to do it. And from that, we set up the programme South Yorkshire Futures, which was an interesting programme because, as I say, we didn't start off with a clear idea of what we were going to do. It was all about wanting to do something and ambition. So it started very much exploring with people across the region, with key stakeholders. What were the issues? What were the things that needed to be addressed to improve educational outcomes? And what potential role could the university have in that journey?
I mean, you've been involved in education administration, in management of education processes. Is this an unusual ambition for university? I mean, universities are often seen as highly insular. This is very ambitious.
Yeah, I think it is unusual. I think it was a sort of step in a different direction for a university, but it did fit very well with Sheffield Hallam as a university. So very much our strategy is about transforming lives. And so I suppose the fact that it was in the strategy was an indication of how it did very neatly fit with that ambition that if you were going to transform lives in a university setting, actually you couldn't ignore what was happening to young people across the region. So there was a really good connection within our overall strategy.
But you've also got a very interesting proposition called the Civic University Agreement, and you referred to that. Can you say something more about that?
Yeah, so the Civic University Agreement came out of the commission that was run by the UPP Foundation to look at the civic university and the role of universities in the civic space. And I suppose for us, it very much built on the work we'd done through South Yorkshire Futures, recognising that actually there were lots of things that a university could do in the improving place agenda. So the Civic University Agreement for Sheffield Hallam absolutely builds on that ambition that we set out in the education space, but then brings in other dimensions such as employment and skills, health and well-being, and our overall sort of impact as a university on the infrastructure, on the sort of shaping of the place. So it was very much a sort of continuation of that journey of recognising that if universities really stood back and thought about what they could do to improve places, there were so many different dimensions to that potential involvement.
But you've rolled it out as well. And, could you tell me something about that? How did you manage to do that? Because that's also a very ambitious idea.
The Civic University Network concept, I think you're referring to. So we are very much a university of place, and we were very keen to think about how could we support that agenda more widely than just in our own place. So when the opportunity arose to bid to run the Civic University Network, Sheffield Hallam, with a number of partners, put ourselves forward to lead that whole piece around developing the role of universities in the civic space.
Very interesting. Tell me then, you've won this award this year. What difference did it actually make, getting this award?
I think it was a really satisfying affirmation of stuff that we'd been doing, really. So I think, we felt we'd been doing some really good stuff, and we felt, we were making a real difference, and we were getting that sort of feedback locally. But it was great to have that sort of national recognition that actually, as a university, we were making a real difference to communities.
Mind you, Greg, this isn't the first time Sheffield Hallam has been winning things. I mean, I've been doing a bit of research about your track record because obviously I've been at these awards for a long time. You've had a lot of nominations over the years and you've won 3 times. And in fact, last year, the Entrepreneurial University of the Year. And even this year, you were nominated for University of the Year. What's the secret?
I think we really believe in what we're doing. So I think as a university, as I say, we developed a strategy 5 or 6 years ago, and it's been great to see that strategy implemented rather than a document that looked good and we put on the shelf, but it wasn't driving what we were actually doing. Whereas actually, when you talk to people across the university, you talk to people outside the university, our Transforming Lives strategy is absolutely core to what the university is about. We believe in transforming lives. Talking to staff, talking to people about the university, it is absolutely core to what we're about. So I think that sense of, we're not out to win things, we're out to demonstrate where universities can make a real difference to communities. And that, therefore, it's very much in our DNA, really.
Yeah, I'm very struck by your website, by the way, which I've been looking at. You have quite a number of very interesting programs, but one very striking is the South Yorkshire Children's University, which of course is part of your agenda. Tell me, how do you manage that? I mean, how do you get children to take an interest in university in that way?
So the South Yorkshire Children's University is a really good example of an early aspect of South Yorkshire Futures. And what we did was we looked at data and found that even when young people in South Yorkshire achieved good academic grades, they often didn't go on to reach their potential, didn't get into the university they could have got into, or go on to have those sort of professions that they might want to do. And we felt that a big part of that was that lack of opportunity to things beyond the classroom, really, those things that develop wider social skills. And we recognised that the Children's University that had existed for a long time in Sheffield was a brilliant way of engaging young people in extracurricular activity. So what we did was we worked with the people running the Sheffield Children's University to help them to take forward a vision to really expand that opportunity to young people across the whole of South Yorkshire. So it's a very good example of where we've tried not to start things from scratch, but tried to identify where are the great things happening and how can we bring our capacity as a university to really boost those things and help them to achieve what they're trying to achieve. So it's a really good example of the type of activity that we've done to support local initiatives.
Sounds very pragmatic, very practical. So big question therefore is, I suppose, what next? Where are you going from here?
I think the big challenge that we are struggling with, and I think for many universities, it's the same thing. It's really being clear how we measure our impact. So at the moment, we as we've been talking today, it's very easy to describe activity, to describe things that we've done that, are good in themselves, but actually capturing that whole activity of a university and really being able to demonstrate what difference we're making and what impact we're having on a place is a challenge that we're really keen to grapple with and to try and work through to make sure that we can really demonstrate for ourselves and for others where we really are having the maximum impact, to make sure that we put our resources into the right areas.
Well, Greg, it's delightful to talk to you about your plans. And of course, you've been now going about 6 years, and there's obviously more to come. Very exciting program. Congratulations yet again on a really good victory. And of course, a cornerstone for your own future.
Thank you very
much, Greg, Director of Place. I love the title. And wish you all the very, very best for 2023 and well beyond.
Thank you very much.